Today I want to show you how to work with your lovely brush markers. You've each got a set of 24 markers in really lovely colors, and also your water brush markers, which actually are not markers. They have a barrel in the handle for putting in water, and we'll see how they work. Now the markers, I have my 60 marker pack. It's really not necessary. There's so much you can do with 24 mixing and all sorts of other techniques. But the markers are really neat in that, first of all, they look like a regular marker. The only difference is the tip, which is a brush. So it moves and dispenses color just like a brush. And when you're working with a brush in regular watercolors, the intensity of the color changes between times that you actually pick up color with your brush. Because depending on how much color you pick up, how hard you press into the color, the intensity of the color can change. And so it's really hard to keep this at sort of an even quantity of color. With the markers, they always come out at the same color intensity. So that's really cool. Now, the way you're going to work with them is together with what I mentioned before, your marker brush, your pen brush. You got 3 of these in different brush tip sizes. I like to use the smallest, but it's up to you. And right here, I want to be careful not to spill. Right here, you're going to unscrew the barrel, fill it in with water, and screw it back on. Although it doesn't seem like there's a lot of room for water here, this much lasts a long time. All right. I love to use paper towels that are a little bit more heavy duty. These are Viva. They're more expensive, but they're almost like cloth, and I get a lot of use out of one piece. So you're going to need to have your paper towel handy. The paper towel allows you to blot your brush, to make sure, and right now I'm going to show you how, if your brush dries up or if you need to clean it, you'll be pressing, and as you can see, some water comes out, and this way you can get out any residual color that you have in this brush. Okay, so working with this technique is super easy, and the results are really beautiful. The first thing we're going to do is take one of our postcard size, maybe a little bit bigger than postcard size, watercolor paper, which of course is beautiful, heavy, it has a little bit of texture. And I'm going to start right away by drawing a line. Just a simple line with my watercolor brush. To that, I will add my water brush, and the way I'm going to do it is slowly go over the line that I drew. Now, as you see, I am grabbing the color from the top and sort of spreading it as I go down. Really easy, just grabbing it and spreading it as I go down. As you see, the further I go down, the less color we have, and so you can go from a dark green to a very light green. If you look at this and you saw what I did, look at how beautiful the shift of color is. And it's something that happens quite naturally with these markers. Let's do another line with a different color. How about some intense fuchsia? All right, I'm going to this time sort of draw a curve. See, I'm doing it freehand. You don't need to worry about it being precise. And now I take my water brush, and again, I start going over the line itself. This is how I'm grabbing some of the pigment onto the brush and slowly come down. I can dry it off or get off some of the color and go back again. Coming down further. Again, look how beautiful this is. It looks really professional. Now what if I wanted to do some mixing? So what I'm going to do is draw a line of pink on one side. The reason I go over it a few times is because the brush tends not to have a huge flow of color, so it might come out a little bit dry. Once you take the water, you can kind of compensate, but I like to have enough color in the line to last a while. So I'm going to take sort of like a yellow orange and put a line over here on the other side. And I'll start with my brush. So I'll pick up my color and move down with it towards the bottom line. I'm going to clean off my brush and now go the other way. Take what I have on the bottom and start moving up. I can go back and forth a bit so that what happens in the middle is a real nice mix. Sort of an ombre, isn't it? Kind of moves from one color to the next. Look at that. Looks really pretty. This technique works with dark colors, with light colors. How about we take this, what color is this? Peacock blue, sounds nice. This time I'm going to actually draw a square. Can you tell how it looks a little dry here? So I'm just going to add, it's not that it really is dry, it's just that it doesn't want the color to come spilling out of the marker. So this is actually good. And what I'm going to do is add a little bit more color on the top and on the side of this square. And taking out my brush, I'm going to start working the way we've been doing it. Ooh, this color is beautiful. I always start at the heavier side, the side where I added more color, and move on to the lighter side. Actually go out of the lines a little so that you can see the progression of color. Okay, I went over the pink and actually had a really pretty effect. Now, this color is quite intense. But let's say I want to add even more intensity. I can come back with the actual marker and add to it. Do you see how the color is getting even more intense? And after I've done that, I can come again and bring out the pigment. just playing with it until I feel like I like the shape that it's giving me. Sort of a sun in the sky, maybe the sun coming down, but the effect is really, really easy to get. There we go. Now, what you want to do when you're working with a color that's this dark is clean off all the color from your brush. And the way I do it is I hold it over my trusty paper towel and I actually squeeze on the barrel, and you see how water's coming off. Clean it off, maybe give it an extra little squeeze. And that's all you need to do to clean it. And I'll show you if I come back now with this really light color. Ooh, fluorescent. And then take my marker. You see how it's completely clean? I have no residual blue in it. The ease of working with this, with these markers and the water barrel is just fantastic. Your results are going to really, really please you. What I'd like you to do, oh, and by the way, you have plenty of room on this side, and because this is so thick, you can also work on the back side, because what I'd like you to do is to spend time really filling up your page with all sorts of different experiments with using your markers and coming up with shapes and working with the different intensity of the color. Let's try one more thing. I'm going to draw a circle. Now what happens, and I don't even know for sure, what happens when I just leave it like pretty thin? I'm going to pick up the color. Can you see how easy it is to pick up the color? And sort of bring it down. You can turn it around and pick up some more color from this side. So what you get is sort of an outline, but it's all shading. Really nice, professional looking shading. There we go. Experiment with this. Make sure that you fill a page with all sorts of experiments with your markers and with your water brush. If you'd like to use the various sizes, you have a thin, medium, and thick brush. Go ahead and do that. See what happens when you mix colors, what happens when you use a very thin line or when you take a very dark color and a thick line, and fill out one page, maybe a back too, with all these experiments. I know you're gonna love it. Enjoy.